Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins. This very special episode, Tarek El-Gindi.
Great to be here, honored to be here with one of the great legends of our sport. No, it's not you.
Chris Cormier, the real deal, one of the legends of the sport.
I was standing all proud about
Yeah.
I was referring to Whitney Jones.
Sorry, Chris.
So three-time fitness Olympian
Another
champion.
Leo, though. On the
Yeah.
Leo in the house.
Yeah.
You know how we Leos do it. Lioness and a Leo. What can you go wrong?
Tarek and I are not going to be happy till it's DiCaprio. That's the only Leo we want next after all Chris's BS.
Wow.
So, Whitney, it is such an honor. It would be an honor to have you here anyway, just to have your presence. Last time you were here, I think you were refereeing these two going at it.
Yeah, always. It's a daily battle. I don't know how
Trust
you
me.
do it, Tim.
Trust me. But you are bringing, as you folks can see by these stunning graphics and this book right here, the new book you have out, Wind Broken, which is a phenomenal book that both Tarek and I have ordered off Amazon.
I didn't get the memo, but I will do it. I will
Come
do
on.
it.
And
We had
I
no
just got my credit
expectations.
card in the mail.
Yeah.
My first one.
And I love the book. I've had a chance. We both had a chance to get as far as we can through it because it just came out. We got to start fresh, and just kind of tell everybody, like you people don't know. Let's skip all that. They know who you are. What was the inspiration for writing this book?
Gosh, there was a lot. So this book was actually 4 years in the making. Completely scratched it 3 times because that needed to be more my voice. Crazy stories. And obviously in the 4 years, even more craziness happened. But to be honest, as an athlete, there's so many knocks, so many hardships, curveballs that you're going to be faced with. And I feel like in any sport, there's a lot of people who play victim. And it's like, oh, poor me, and oh, I just can't. And for me, my background, I just was never raised like that. I had 2 older brothers, and I was constantly trying to keep up with them and be at their level. So I learned early on, you got to cut the excuses. And then seeing our youth grow up, I have 2 teenage boys, there's this victim mentality, and I can't stand it. So I started sharing some of my story, and I've had a lot of injuries. You guys know. You guys have been at Olympia. I think there's only one Olympia that I stepped on stage without a broken bone, a torn ligament.
Dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, something massive. But the thing is, you keep going. I had a choice. You can either let the excuses define you, or you find a way. Now, can I say that I stepped on Olympia stage every single time at my best? No. But it wasn't about always being at your best. It's about showing up. It's about embracing your brokenness. So not just as an athlete and with injuries, but in life, in your career. You're going to be kicked in the face. How you respond, how you recover, and your perception on life is what really, truly sets your legacy. And I wanted to have something that I would be remembered for, not because I've broken almost every bone and 18 surgeries, but because I continued to keep trying and refuse to give up. And I think it was an opportunity to use this platform to get the message out there and say, embrace your flaws. What sets us apart from those who can truly thrive in life and those who just kind of survive is they've mastered the art of winning broken.
I'm stunned by it because not only you have a heart of a lion, but you can inspire people from a multiple facets of sports, life, business people.
Yeah.
All of this. I mean, I didn't read the book, but just knowing you as a person and just hearing you speak right now, and then knowing some of the trials and tribulations you went through. Oh, she had a torn ACL. She just won the championships anyway. That all this stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm really I'm inspired. I feel like, I got a whole nother level of respect for you as an athlete and as a person, but I can see this inspiring people from a multiple of sports.
Well, thank you.
Well, judging the Olympia and knowing Whitney for a long time, Whitney, as an athlete, is one of the most inspiring people you can have around. I talked to Sandy Williamson one time. We were talking about the seminar, and she goes, I can put Whitney in any position and she'll be great at, right? And Whitney Jones, you know, we do Olympia battle, we do this, we do that. Whitney Jones is the person that you always can count on positivity and something is going to be great. But I want to get down to business because I was excited about this book because I wanted to know more about Whitney Jones. And I said, man, you know, how much am I going to know about her, right? And man, the first paragraph, and if you don't mind me reading here, Tim, I just want to read the first paragraph because if the purpose of a book is for you to relate with the book, you know, I almost had tears when I read the first paragraph, and if you don't mind, if I can read it here. But her dedication, the first paragraph is to my mom, the strongest, most determined woman I've ever known. Your grit, tenacity, and endless compassion taught me that the greatest treasure in life is found in how we care for others. You left too soon, but your legacy of selflessness and love will always be my compass. And, you know, I lost my mom too soon as well. And when I read this first paragraph, I said to myself, we're going to be in this journey together here, right? I didn't know that about Whitney Jones, that she lost her mother too soon. And even though we've been friends, but I was delighted to see that she was opening her heart not only to her fans, but also to her friends. And, you know, she mentions here her father's dementia, right? Mm-hmm. She's so open about it. And then one of my favorite sections is when she talks about fear, right? She goes, everyone has fear. Put a name on it. Mm-hmm. Challenge yourself every day to deal with that fear. That's in one of the segments here. So I'm going to say this. If somebody came up to me and said, Tarek, out of the entire bodybuilding industry right now, who do you think we should, you know, promote to write a book? I would say Whitney Jones. And I think this is a treasure. I should be done within the next 48 hours. It's great read. And listen, she's one of the most inspiring people. When you talk to her children, you know, they're big dudes right now, but they have such an energy about them. And it's because of Whitney Jones.
Let me ask you this. So the book is laid out in a very readable way, but at the same time, it's often a personal story of yours, a triumph you overcame, stories of your coaching clients and their various mental, physical, emotional transformations. And then you put in an exercise, which I love, so where people can put it into practice for themselves.
Right, yes.
Now, I just want to get to, I asked you why you wrote the book. But in putting those coaching stories in, you've obviously been coaching people. What is it you love about coaching?
Gosh, the biggest thing I love about coaching is truly seeing, you know, it's as a coach, we can put together workouts, diet plans. I want to see the internal transformation, that confidence, the ability for them to go, wow, I really can take risks. So the fitness, wellness, health industry, it's about really tapping into who you are as a person. What do you want to achieve? And as a coach, we have the ability to really power that and help them believe in themselves in a way that maybe they haven't seen yet or they can't conceptualize. Like, you really think I could go open up this business? You really think I could go run a marathon? You really think I could step on the bodybuilding stage? Hell yeah, why not? So seeing that kind of spark, that's like, I get chills. Like, I literally love to see someone go, wow, okay. And then it's a challenge to them go, now let's do it. And here's a blueprint.
You literally have a couple stories like that in here where you talk about somebody who came out of their shell completely and it changed every facet of their life.
Yeah.
The fitness changed their interior and exterior. And another one with a gentleman that was no longer with you as a training client because life caught up.
Yeah.
But he changed completely as a person.
Yes. Darren. And it's like, you know, I love it because we still stay in contact. And it's not about being perfect. I think that's where, especially with social media, and even more so in our industry, there's this facade that everything's perfect. And that's what people put on social media. That's not reality. It's not life. So it's more about progress. And when you get off your destination and your path goes haywire, how do you get back? Well, if you have those tools, that's how you get back. And you recognize, okay, I've veered too far. Darren will text me and go, Whit, It's been a rough 6 months, but I'm back at it. He still pulls out some of his workout plans. Awesome. The fact that I was able to make an impact 18 years ago in his life that he still applies is amazing. And it's not about just being so strict. It's let's have fun in life. And so having the fact that he can go, wow, I keep allowing myself to show up, that's helped him. He ended up opening up a business that he wanted to do years ago. And so his heart and soul pours into it. And when he gets off track, he'll always shoot me a text. And it's like, hey, man, I gotcha. Always here in your corner.
Man, I'm truly inspired. Your contact with, with your mom and everything. I feel the same way about my mom. I was having watery eyes talking when Terry brought this up because we all have our relationship with our mom. I lost my mom also, and I feel like I still feel her sometimes in certain parts of my life. But yeah, I'm really inspired to read this, and man, you got me going with that one.
Yeah, well, it's like whenever we are fortunate that we had some great mentors as parents, and now we get to kind of pour that and pay it forward, and we've all accomplished some pretty cool things.
My mom, on her last day on earth, she was still pushing me to go do a seminar in LA, and I was like, Mom, it's fine. I'm okay not to go. And she's like, Chris, go do your job. Do what you're here to do. I'll be here when you get back. And she left us the next day when I got back, but.
And say that inspiration, though, is what you have to pour into others, or you should, and I think that's what we enjoy. It's what's one aspect about our sport that's so amazing is we have the ability to do that.
Well, Whitney, we're going to get back into more of Windbroken when we come back from this break. And I got some questions. Tarek has been working his way through the book as well. And we're going to talk about some of these tips that you've got for folks to overcome things. And we're also going to talk about some of those big moments that you've overcome, and they haven't just been neck injuries on stage trying to do spins in a helmet. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about all that when we come back on Primetime Muscle. So, Whitney, injuries galore. Is the steel cage still in your neck?
Oh, yeah. It will always still be there. It's a 12-piece metal cage. Yeah. Because I broke my neck, and that's how they put me back together.
We got to talk about how you broke your neck, because, Chris, we're of the age where we grew up wanting to be good break dancers. Could you pop and lock?
I'm mostly popped.
Tim, he's not like us. He's not like us.
They're not like us. So, Whitney, I always wanted to do spins on my head like they did back in the Electric Boogaloo years when we could, have a wrap off to go save the community center.
Yeah.
But you decided, I want to spin faster. Tell us how you broke your neck.
So it was that. I was prepping for one of my competitions, and I do break dancing in some of my routines, and I thought, no one's done a head spin. So I was like, I'm going to master this. And I've been practicing for a couple weeks, but in true athlete fashion, I wanted to go faster. So I had the brilliant idea to run home, grab my snowboard helmet. I went to a place where it had carpet. So, of course, with the helmet, the carpet, you can spin so much faster. So it was working. I was like, this is money. This is what I wanted. So the point was you kick up, spin, do multiple revolutions, and then you pop off your head, and you do this flip splat on the back. So I was trying to just work on the timing and what my next move was. Well, one of them, I just had way too much speed and power and was spinning, and I went to pop off my head, and my neck went... And it was like, And I've had shoulder injuries, so I thought, it's nerve related, so I thought it was my shoulder again. And thought, okay, I'm going to shut it down. But then I got bored and thought, no, I think I'm good. I'm going to go do some backflips where I catch in a push-up. So I went back later that afternoon, and my right arm would not catch me. So then I thought, okay, what's going on? Long story short, it was just shortly after I went to my sports therapist because I was losing all the feeling in my arm. And she went to work on the back of my shoulder and went, oh my gosh, because there was this massive swollen pocket.
Water pocket.
And she's like, you, I think, broke your neck. And I thought, what? And sure enough. But they put me back
But
together.
you was able to be mobile still? And you was,
Not at that point. I mean, I needed immediate surgery, and then I was in a neck brace for 6 weeks solid. But that was when I came back 9 months later. That's when I won the Arnold. So my first world championship title was after I broke my neck, and 4 weeks before the Arnold was when I tore my ACL. So that was a very pivotal year. I mean, you go in, you have no upper body strength, coordination was off. I was going to try to make up for it with my powerful legs, explosiveness, tear my ACL a couple weeks out. I kept it all under wraps.
You had to
just,
retool your entire routine with your ACL out.
Yeah. And then I ended up winning. But it's that mindset. I just had so much like grit, like, hell no, I am not going out like this. I will go out on my own terms, and it's not like this.
So, the title is fantastic, right? Wind Broken. And, for some of us, the broken means a trauma, an emotional thing. For you, it could be a trauma, but it's actually physical, right? Mm-hmm. You're physically hurt, and you still overcome and you win. Nowadays we live in a society where, if we can't accomplish something, we're quick to give excuses, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't mean to portray a new generation here because it's not everybody, but right now, there's participation medals, there's all kinds of stuff to reward people for not really accomplishing what they should. Talk to me about how we can inspire, right? I see your son is a stud. He's playing, football. How can we inspire some of the young generation to say, hey, man, no excuses. You got to go get it. How can we do this, Whitney?
That's a great point, because that's a big part of why I wanted this story out, because it is. Like, if you're young and you don't realize life's going to be heavy and hard and you're going to be knocked down a ton, then you aren't prepared for life. And so you'll always be in this victim mentality and have this pity party mindset. Well, that's one of the reasons I feel like I've been successful, is because when I was young and growing up, nothing was easy. I had a great family, but we had very little. And that's what I think helps you realize you got to work. It takes constant hard work, effort. And you got to realize it's not going to go your way 50% of the time. If it does, then you better be in a period of gratitude, because it's going to swing back the other way. So if you are willing to acknowledge that times are going to be tough, but if you learn how to handle it younger, life's going to be so much easier when you're older.
Meaning, young parents like myself, do not over cater to your children.
Correct.
Put them through challenges.
Yep.
Do not sugarcoat them. Tell them you didn't do well at jiu-jitsu today. And if, do I sound harsh?
No, it sounds good to me.
I'm going to go like this to my son. Wind broken! What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
If you are beating your child with the book, we're going to have problems, buddy.
So, put them under some challenge so that they can be stronger as they grow as adults.
You can't make life too easy. And I've made the mistakes too with my own boys. It's like, when they're little, you want to help and guide them. And it's tough to watch them struggle and figure things out when you could really just jump in and make it easier. And a lot of times it takes patience for the parent to just watch them struggle and go through the whole learning experience. Because again, for us, it's like, I don't have time for this. Yeah, you need to, or you're going to be paying for it later, and so will your child. So there's that buffer zone of allow them to experience the rough moments so that they can learn, okay, things aren't always rainbows and butterflies.
Mm-hmm. So this does point out a couple times, though, that it wasn't just physical for you.
Yes,
it was sure. When it rains, it pours. Mm-hmm. Could there be anything else today? Seriously.
Yeah.
And, there was the days, you find out I'm a single mom, trying to own a business, I'm injured, the kid's sick, I got meetings coming in, the whole gamut of people. and everybody's perception of what is hard for them is different.
Totally.
And you have to build up but you have some points throughout this book with resilience and things, and I like how much snacks come into play.
Yeah.
Snacks are very important. But you have a lot of
Clearly.
1, 2, 3 kind of things. Reassess, what are some of those tips that you give people to say, all right, it just got hard. Here's 3 things I want you to do, and I know number 3 is always snacks.
Yes, yeah. Snacks are always important, and they bring you a little joy within reason, of
Yes.
course. My biggest tip that's always worked for me, and you guys know, I'm goofy. I love shenanigans. I love to laugh. It's absolutely my favorite hobby. I've learned to laugh through the chaos, and it really lightens the heaviness of whatever you're going through. I mean, I've had some significant injuries, obviously. I've had some phone calls where it's affected my business going, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack right now. This is bad news. I've had family, personal situations that have been hard. You can laugh, even if it's awkward, even if you're like, what am I laughing at? But if you force yourself to laugh, it kind of sets you back into this position of, all right, life is going to go on. Whatever is happening, you're going to overcome it.
Give it a nickname.
Give it a nickname.
Mr.
Yep,
Mr. Scary Pants or Mr. Fear Pants, you call it.
Exactly.
Captain
And
Fear.
Captain Fear.
If you just face it, if you laugh and go, okay, in a week from now, I'm not going to be stressed about it. Let me just handle it. It takes that pressure to find a solution now or to be super happy. It's just like, just laugh. Like, is this even really happening? And for me, sometimes I remember not too long ago, I rear-ended someone and it was like so many things that morning going wrong. And I thought, oh my gosh. And so the person comes up and I'm just sitting in my car laughing and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, sorry, it's the way I'm dealing with it and nothing funny about it, but it helps. It helps me deal with
I'm
it.
gonna tell you something. If I'm driving and somebody rear ends me and it's a blonde and she comes in and jumps like that, I would be like, it's fine, girl. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for it myself.
And she's laughing.
I'm just on my way
And I'm
here.
laughing.
She's laughing like, oh, just a tough morning.
Yeah, just at that morning.
Are you okay? I'm like, oh my goodness.
I'm not calling that into insurance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, gorgeous blonde just ran into me from behind. I'm good.
Yes.
It is an amazing book. There's so many great tips for life and things. Tarek brought up a great point about this generation. You brought up a point about the participation trophy generation. But I will say, when you cover the gamut of ages this is good for, a lot of times these things aren't until people in their 30s and 40s, and they need those tools because they realize, I'm not good at overcoming obstacles, dealing with fear, dealing with these things. So not only is it great for those 30s, 40s, early 50s where you just never conquered these things, but if young people mastered this early, they wouldn't they'd have better 30s and 40s for sure.
Yeah. And a lot of there's some stories in there. One of the first early stories was a high school kid who tore his ACL and ended up seeing my segment on Generation Iron 3, the documentary. And he was in a very bad state, high school kid, dreams of the NFL, college scouts looking at him, tore his ACL, and he went in a deep depression. And his mom ended up reaching out to me later and saying he saw Generation Iron 3, he saw me break my neck, tore my ACL, and then went on to win, and it sparked something in him. And the next day he came out of his room, he'd been kind of holed up in there for about a month, and he just had a renewed passion to overcome. So it's amazing how many people in their teens through 30s it affects on a different way.
Yeah.
And then 30 to 60, I just had a guy reach out to me, he was almost 80, and he's like, this is so powerful. I can't wait to apply these. So it is. Everyone has a different read on it, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Because we all have different life experiences. And like you said, each chapter, I want you to apply it to your own life. So this lesson or this story, my quirkiness, how does it now relate to your own life? Because that's where the real power is.
Well, and one thing I did appreciate is, so you broke it down in a format where there's kind of a personal story, maybe a coaching story, and then an actual exercise. You see these lines where you say, all right, go in there, it's your turn. Talk about what it is you want to overcome, things fears that you have.
That's remarkable. I never really seen an inspirational book like this. Like you said, it took you a few years to come up with this, and your story wasn't fully written already. And your journey is going to go far beyond this book.
Right,
Your journey's
yeah.
not over either.
Right.
But, having exercises for people to put their own spin on it
Yeah.
and what they take from it, I think that's remarkable.
And what is Unstoppable 365?
So it is a new program too. So it was a business I launched last year, focused still on coaching, health, wellness, but also mindset. And a part of that is I coach clients, lifestyle clients, athletes, as well as high-level executives. And we all need that accountability. We need the simplicity, but we also need that massive push to go, you're not working at the ability that you can be. And I see it, and you are meant for greatness, and you're way mediocre right now. Let's push. Let's do this together. And that's where it's about be unstoppable every single day. So it's not just about getting in the best shape of your life or, kind of overcoming and feeling good about yourself temporary. No, this is a blueprint for life changing
Oh, for sure.
happiness, health, wellness, mindset. We have a doctor. One of my business partners is a doctor, so he does all the blood work so that you're optimized on the health side, medical aspects of it. And then we really work on drilling in what you want to achieve and helping you get there.
You're going to stay with us for this final segment, but the book is Win Broken, Whitney Jones, male, female, young, middle-aged, 80s.
Yeah.
It will give you tools to call angrily to Medicare and tell them, you will not defeat me. I know you're a behemoth. Don't care how old you are. This is a very powerful book, and we're grateful that you wrote it. We'll be back on Primetime Muscle because without Whitney and without a couple others that we're going to talk about in a minute, the world of pro fitness is going to be a little different this year. We'll talk about that when we come back on Primetime Muscle. All right, welcome back to Primetime Muscle. Okay, Whitney, we talk about every division. We're the only show that does. We're very proud of
Yes,
ourselves. As,
yeah.
if any of us had any mobility and didn't have tight jackets, we'd be patting ourselves on the back. But none of us can reach. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Keep Chris after.
Yeah.
Give it.
Women's fitness
Yes.
has been one of my favorites since I started emceeing it in '98.
Mm-hmm.
And this year's going to be interesting. So you will not be
Yes.
at the Olympia this year.
Nope.
Missy Truscott has moved on to figure.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, by the way?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think it is tough because perception out there could be, oh, is she really figure ready? And then more importantly, too, coming off the injury, it's different with fitness because you have the ability to make up for the physique round with the routine round. Well, everything with figure is all physique, and it is to the T. Like, everything has to be symmetrical. I know she's got the work ethic and the grit to put in and really level up, but it'll be interesting, too, to see how some of these figure girls who've been pushing and just waiting for Sid to retire, that day has come.
Yep.
And now is it going to rattle things with
Jessica, Lola, and Natalia may have something to say about that.
Yeah.
So now this year, Oksana, I believe, is going to stay continuing. She just had a baby.
Oh, so pretty.
And
So excited
so
for her.
you, Missy, Oksana. So kind of that top echelon is moving on, and the next gen is coming up.
I like to call this segment "Losing Followers, Making Enemies." We're here to promote your book, and we know you can win broken. We also want to know if you can build some hostility in the industry. Whitney Jones, as a 3-time Olympia champion,
Yeah.
fitness champion, I want you to look at the camera and say, guys, this is the girl who's winning this year.
Olympia?
Olympia, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, so, all right. Here, I'll give
One
you time.
person or two people?
There's only one champion, Chris.
I know, but can you just say
So-
2 people?
Okay. Well,
Get 2 shots at it?
I got to give a little background on some. So there's 4 that I think are going to be in that mix for the top 3.
See.
Okay. So little T, she's
Yep.
clearly held her own and she's working, getting that physique built up. You have Jacqueline
Jacqueline Baker.
who has been right at the top. Shelley from the UK.
Yep.
Alison Kramer. I mean,
Yep.
those are. So this is an early prediction, but those, I don't know.
So tell us, who do you think is going to come out with the title at the 2025 Mr. Olympia? Do you think Taylor Learmont wins it? Do you think Jacqueline Baker wins it? Do you think Shelley, the UK phenom, wins? Or Alison Kramer comes in and shocks the world?
If I had to make one guess right now, I would say Jacqueline.
All right.
Now, is she doing it? I don't know. But that's my prediction. If I had to put money, because you guys know I like to gamble, I would bet
I haven't gotten to
on-
that chapter yet.
Yeah. I kind of left some of that out. But
Where do you see Ariel landing?
I don't know if she's competing.
still-
That's the only
okay,
reason
okay.
why I did not include her, because she's a top contender. She's 3-time Arnold champ.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's competing this year. I know she has a neck injury. So if that's the case, she had to sit out last October for Olympia. If she's actually in, that does change some things, but I believe she may be sitting out.
And how hard is it? You know, you got the Sarah Vaughns out of Canada, live in America. But, I mean, some people has been around a while. How do you see, you know, injuries happen and all this stuff? How hard is that keeping up with that type of sport? I mean, it's pretty demanding.
That's what's hard being this early in the season. So much can change with injuries that really changes the ability to go in and be in that top spot. So with all 4 of those women, if one of them has a mishap close to the Olympia, that totally changes the
Just
game.
practice.
Here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
When you start talking about Missy being out, Mina Pagilati will probably not be there. There are some of the bigger physiques. When you get to that physique round,
Yeah.
with the bigger physiques at the top not there anymore, then you have, Taylor, Amber Steffen with another killer powerful routine.
Yep.
They don't have the big physiques. They're trying to grow into the division.
Yeah.
But that makes it easier to be a top physique.
Totally.
When you don't have the
Yes.
I don't want to say, how do I say bigger
Well,
physiques?
you know,
They're women.
Tim,
Yeah.
the interesting thing is
More
this.
developed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
More
You know,
developed.
more developed.
It wasn't long ago that we were talking about who's going to win. Whitney Jones, Missy Truscott, Oksana, Ariel Kadar. We were talking about these 4 names.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we're not mentioning any of those names,
Yeah.
and there's a whole new group of competitors that can win the title. I'm going to miss this generation of fitness competitors. You know, Whitney Jones knows that this is my favorite shot here. I love this because I don't know.
Where was that
who
from?
took this shot
Hernan.
here?
Olympia 2021.
That
this from?
one, no, that was 2019.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
this is
Orleans,
But yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
this is a flying shot. It's one of the most incredible, amazing, shots I've ever seen in sports. You talk about Missy, right? Her routine was so powerful and so much energy. Oksana as the Joker, right? She was telling a story there. And then Ariel Kadar as the Terminator. She was telling a story. And now, unfortunately, it is our sport. They're all gone, right? We don't know Ariel's situation. But the generation continues with Jacqueline Baker, Taylor Learmont is coming in. What I wanted to say is, I think you girls, at one point we had you, Oksana, and Missy on stage competing. And I think that was the greatest generation of champions, right? Yeah. In one Olympia stage. If we look back 20 years from now, we'll say those were the golden years of fitness. Whitney Jones, Missy Truscott, and Oksana competing in the same stage.
I would happen to agree. There were some eras I was emceeing with the Monica Brandt era where you had her and Lena and Tamea and a lot of the others, but it wasn't. The routines kind of were so varied that it wasn't power in one show.
Yeah.
And then on to the Adela years and Jen Hendershot, it was a lot of power with her as an OSU cheerleader. But then you get to that era, like we talk about with bikini now, where there's 5 former Olympias all duking it out for the same title.
Right, yes, yeah. But that's what makes it exciting. And what's different too is when you would see Oksana, myself, and Missy all on stage. We had a different background. We had a different style. So you have Missy, who's gymnastics trained, power tumbler, high flying. You have Oksana, theatrical, her routines, you never know, it's a theme. And then you have me putting in breakdancing. I always open with something like jumping out, like kind of like Jack in the Box, and then it was just like nonstop. So the fact that we were so different is what I think made it so entertaining and exciting, because you're not comparing apples to apples. It's like apples, oranges, banana, and how do you make a decision? But that's what makes our division so freaking badass.
Well, that and the fact for me that you've always had to do a routine as conditioned as a figure pro.
Yeah.
So you have to, all the discipline that it takes to get on stage, shredded, symmetrical, muscular, full, and then go out and perform, where everybody else is just laying backstage in a coma, waiting for their division to come up.
Yes. And in all fairness, like this book, I said in the very beginning, I am not the only one. You look at any of the fitness girls at the pro level, we're all broken. We're all shattered,
And
going, duct tape us together and make it part of the costume. Let's go.
that's something that Whitney has always said to me. She goes, Tarek, I have an injury. I'm going to compete and I want to win. And she told me, she goes, Tarek, they're all broken, all the girls. They're never going to tell you what the injury they have because they don't want to give excuses, but every single one of them has an injury and we're going to compete. And I mean, where do you hear that nowadays?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the important thing. For you that want to check out this book, one of the things you say in here about your sport is also about all of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to come at you. It's not a matter of if, but when.
Right.
And you've got to be prepared for that because something's going to happen. You're not
Yeah.
going to live to 100, never have a head cold, never have a dog die or have a car
You're not
accident.
living if that's the case.
That's a lot of Wellbutrin is what that is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mediums. I want some high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
But that's what's so great about your book, Windbroken, is that you do say, hey, this is going to happen. You got to be prepared.
Right. Yep. Have the tools in the toolbox to deal with it, to be able to kind of compartmentalize the bad, laugh at the chaos, and go, all right, I'm going to have a second to kind of be human and feel it. Now I'm moving on, and now I'm coming back.
Well, the book is Windbroken, available everywhere, like Amazon, where Tarek and I got ours.
Yeah.
Unstoppable365.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can log on to that as well. And this show wouldn't be possible without great sponsors like Global Formulas. Tarek.
Yeah, I want to talk about global formulas. If you want to get lean for the summer, BioHeat Hardcore. My friend Jacob Frank is one of the true geniuses of the supplement businesses. He came in with this thermogenic. We have repair here after a workout if you want to recover. And then we have here endurance, which is Tim Wilkins' favorite, right? Global formulas, train hard, demand the best. Back to you, Tim Wilkins.
Thank you, Tarek. As always, like, subscribe, share. Share with us your stories that we can pass along to Whitney that really talk about the things that you've overcome. We love those stories. As athletes, we encourage each other. One of the things I've loved about the fitness division is you all encourage each other so much.
Yeah.
Gym culture I've always loved because it's such a, even with the women, we're a bro culture.
Yeah,
You're my bro,
Yep.
bro. And
Yep.
we're a very supportive group.
The homie.
Homie.
Like, subscribe, share, and share your stories of what you've overcome on our page. And it just flies by.
Yeah,
It just flies
it
by.
does. You guys are always a blast.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank
Real deal,
you.
Chris Cormier.
Real deal.
Tarek Gilgindi.
And we love the mane coming down, nice hair.
Oh
We
yeah,
love
the
it.
lioness.
The mane is in the
The
house.
one and only Whitney Jones, we thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
And we will see you on the next Primetime Muscle.